Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. Today I have two replays to show you in the brand new Tier 9 American heavy tank, the double tap TS-54. Now this is the second tank which has been released with the double barrel gun mechanic. So this is the second one. And what I'm going to do is, as it's a brand new tank, before I get into the gameplay, I'm just going to briefly go over the tank and give you a little bit of a review on the statistics and my opinion of the tank. So it has a dual gun mechanic. So if you haven't really seen what this is yet, you basically got two guns, and each gun loads individually and can either be choose to be fired at the same time to sort of double your alpha, or you can choose to fire the guns individually. So you fire one gun, you then have a short interclip, and then you can fire your second gun. But while you're firing your other gun, the other gun you haven't fired is already reloading. So that's basically how it works, and you'll see in the video anyway. But what do I think of this tank? So it's basically got 280 alpha, and you got AP pen on the standard round of 240, which is pretty low for a tier 9 heavy tank these days. You then got 284 penetration on premium APCR, which again there is higher as a tier 9 heavy, but 284 is fine for most cases. But the good thing is it also has higher shell velocity of the 1060 on the APCR, rather than the 950 on the standard AP rounds. You got 8 degrees of gun depression, so you can be pretty decent on a sort of hold down ridgeline fight. And it does have decent turret armor. Actually, it's probably one of the best thing about the tank is the turret armor is good when you're using your gun depression. The problem is, I say that there is 2 weak points on the front of the turret, and if you're looking at it frontally, on the top left and the top right, there's these little parts that stick out, and they're weak points. So if you're fighting this tank close down when it's hold down, they're quite easy to actually hit, which is a bit of a problem. And the tank is not very quick, and that is quite painful. It's got a top speed of 40 kilometers an hour if you can reach it. It does struggle with the ground resistance, and it can be. That's one of my biggest gripes with this tank, is that it is too slow, in my opinion. It does just that, it kind of really drags it down, as well as a 280 alpha isn't particularly high. So it does just feel like it could do with a bit of a buff to the alpha, basically, and also a bit of a buff to the mobility of the tank. Which kind of brings me on, do I think this tank is worth it? It costs 14,000 gold for the basic bundle, and I think that's too much for this tank. That's just my opinion. Obviously, if you're just a collector and you like to have the tanks, then but I don't necessarily think this is worth it. There's other tanks which are better than this tank, by a mile for cheaper. So I'm not necessarily sure it's actually worth that amount of gold. But hasn't said that, you may like it, and I'm just going to get into the replays, and just rather than you get bored of me rambling on, and I'll explain more about the tank as we progress through the replays. So that's enough of me rambling. Let's move on. Okay, so here we are then for the first replay on Alpha Pass, and we are top tier with no enemy artillery in the game. Now, this tank, obviously, it's got the dual double gun mechanic, but the majority of the time, it kind of feels like you're playing a single fire tank, because you want to really be using the single fire shot, basically as your main shot, rather than use a double shot, until you notice there's a tank which is like a one shot where you could need a tiny bit more alpha just to definitely kill them, and then you can use your double shot, basically. Or if you just, at the end of the game, you want a quick boost to your damage, because otherwise you're sort of lowering your DPM, because if you fired a single shot, you don't have that, you don't waste the interclip, because while your interclip is loading, you immediately can fire your next gun. So it does kind of feel like you're constantly firing this tank. I mean, and that can be quite nice, but then you're only hitting them for 280 alpha, and when you compare the DPM to some of the other tier 9 tanks, it's not amazing. It would be okay, I think, if this tank was quicker, but it just takes too long to get into those positions, because your whole armour on this tank as well is pretty poor. and you won't bounce a lot really off of your hull. You're only going to bounce off of your turret. The lower plate's weak, but then, you know, who cares? It's a lower plate. You kind of expect it to be penned. But like I say, yeah, the whole armour just isn't amazing, and that's my biggest problem for me anyway. Playing this tank is just it's just too slow. Look how it just feels too sluggish. If it was quicker, then I could understand it, and it would be a lot more fun to play. But anyway, here we are on Halford Pass, and we're notice there's a lot of tanks on the right hand side, and I didn't want to just fight them for where I was because they'd have us easy shots onto me, and I wanted to put them under more pressure. I want the enemy team to be put under more pressure on these tanks, so I knew I could come around this low ground, not having to worry about getting shot by artillery. I spot these tanks up at the back, and now I can kind of come hold down and use this ridge if possible, and then just try and keep, you know, because I don't want to get slapped by this tank destroyer for 750 alpha there. So I'm just trying to get some shots in. And I do actually bounce 750 there, because you can see I bounce off of the turret, and when you hold down at a distance, the turret armour is very strong. Like I say, when you're close up, you can hit the weak points, but from a distance, that's not so easy to do. And if you are hold down, that can be very effective. And like I say, the gun, you see I'm firing the single shots there, it reloads really quickly. Basically, you shoot one shot here, and then my next shot, the second that interclip's ready, I'm basically just ready to fire. So I'm ready to fire again now. Come interclips, come down, this dragon's come behind me, and you do feel like, you know, there's not a lot of pause of you reloading. So I think you've got like a 6-second odd reload, and then you just, you know, you've got that second gun ready to go. So we're having a decent start here. We've got 2,000 damage, and we've got 2 kills, block 750. Trying to pick up as much damage as we can there, you know, as quickly as we can. There's this Amex there who's on a one-shot now, so I'm going to try and finish him off, which we do, leaving this into a 9 versus 7. And I pretty much killed the rest of these tanks on this side. So the rest of the tanks, I think, was on the other side, and I'm going to try and make my way across to get some damage. Now, we've seen this Skoda on our right hand side. We're aware that he's a one shot, so we're just going to keep driving, see if we can get up and pick up this kill before he escapes, which we should be able to do. Like the tank, I think I've got the accuracy down with all the statistics down to 0.28, which is okay. It's on the derpier side of some tanks, but it doesn't feel that derpy if you find a premium with the higher shell velocity. Now there is this Ragnarok. Now obviously I don't want to get, well, clipped out by this Ragnarok. I'm trying to get hold down, but I'm not quite hold down there. I have put 2 shots into him. He now gets 1 into me. Now I'm sort of somewhat hold down on my own, bouncing shots there off of my turret. And we managed to make quick work with the help of our UDES of that tank, putting us onto 3,000 damage and 4 kills. Now this game's not won yet, but it is looking in our favour here. There is an enemy also loading stockade there. I've got to be a bit careful, but I do have support with me, looking to try and peek over and get shots in, but then we notice there's this enemy heavy, and unfortunately I kind of blocked him by my heavy tank there behind us, but he does pull back and realise, so thankfully for that. Now this is awkward because I don't want to eat like 390 alpha off of that Heb T10 on the left hand side, but I also want to get shots into the stockade, because I want to just, you know, he's very healthy, and I want to just try and pick up as much damage as we can. But we got to be patient. I need him to come into us. If that T10 on the left wasn't there, it would make life a lot easier for us. Unfortunately, I think we bounced that shot on. I must have missed that one, but we've got a second opportunity to get a shot in. He is ammo rack now. If I swap to my double mechanic, which I do now because I realise he's a one shot to us, and that's where the dual double gun mechanic does come in handy. Because you see there, I wouldn't have been able to kill him in one shot with my single fire gun. So I swapped to the dual mechanic and I killed him in one shot, which allowed me to pick up the kill. We're just on the move looking for a shot on this T10. We chance it, we snap it in, and that picks us up the 6th kill, confirming us on Top Gun. There's only 1 tank remaining, and that is an Earthshaker. I have no idea how many hit points he is, but I do know exactly where he is because he's sitting in the base, and I'm just hoping I can get there in time before our friendly team cap out. But it looks like there's only one of our friendly team in the cap, which is going to give me an opportunity to get some damage in. Now, I make a mistake here because I shoot the double tap mechanic to get a bit of alpha, just because I thought he was going to get obliterated by our team. But I shouldn't have done this here, because there you go, I shot the double mechanic. I should have shot the single fire, because now I've got to wait for this interclip to load, and yeah, that's kind of probably cost me the Devastator medal there. I could have picked up the 7th kill if I had that tiny bit more DPM, so I should have fired the single shot, but there you go. We get 6 kills, 4,600 damage, we get the top gun, we get the first class, so we have a decent game for this tank, and that is the end of the replay number 1. Let's move on to the final replay of this video. Okay, so here we are for the final replay on Ruinberg. There's no enemy artillery, it is the encounter battle. We are top tier again. Now, I probably would have liked to try and get some, bottom tier replays for you, but to be honest, the time I got back from work to try and get the replay and get the video out for you, just didn't have enough time. So I'll get some more replays in it at a different time, but I wanted to get this out there so you can see what we could do. But on Ruinberg, knowing that there's no artillery pieces in this game, and the fact that I am quite good hold down, I'm going to try and use this ridge here. Now, the thing you have to be careful of where I'm playing this ridge is if heavy tanks push down into the city and then they get side shots onto you. So that's something you've got to be conscious of, and that is in the back of my mind right now. But I also knew that it's an encounter, I knew where the enemy team spawned, and I wanted to try and get some shots in. And I am managing to do that. We've got 2 shots in already. There's an enemy Earthshaker in the open. Try and get another shot in, and boom, we blow up his ammo rack, picking up a 700 hit points there and confirming the kill. So we have a really nice little result there, boosting our damage in this game. I swapped to the mini-map because I cut a small mini-map because I wanted to know the exact locations of tanks there that's going to get side shots into my turret. But now I'll swap to the bigger mini-map because I want to see if any tanks are going to come into the city, and I want to be alert of that fact. But there's a lot of tanks for me to shoot right now. We've got shots into this enemy waffle, we get a nice shot in. Like I say, we'll hold down here, so from the left we are in a good position. When you hold down, only using your turret armour, you're in a good position with this tank. But now tanks are starting to cross, that could be awkward because they'll be able to get side shots into this ridge, which isn't ideal. Again, I'm sort of somewhat hold down here, not as hold down as I'd like, but it does mean most of my turret is exposed. But I'm not happy about this enemy tank being there, because that's going to probably stop me having to use this position there, because I don't want to be getting shot in the side while I'm trying to get the damage in. We are winning this game with 2 tanks up. I'm going to try and move closer, and I'm actually thinking about crossing over into the left hand side and using the buildings to get shots into the tanks on the sort of field area, because I have a lot of support over that side. I'm not concerned about being capped out, just because I can easily get to the cap if I need be. Try and get a shot into that enemy German medium tank. He does get a shot into us, and we do bounce because he is hold down there, but he's supposed to get a shot, and I'm just trying to side scrape right here, and just so I can try and get some shots in. It does end up working out quite well because I am bouncing a few shots off of him, and I am getting damage in return. But yeah, if he keeps poking like this, I'm just going to keep going because he does keep presenting shots. But now he's gone to hold down, it's going to be a lot more tricky for me to get pens into that tank. I'm just going to adjust my position, but as that happens, an enemy tank crosses and we do get a nice shot into them. Putting this on to just about 3,000 damage with 2 kills. I think we've got 1,000 blocked as well. Trying to see if I can get shots into this medium tank in the side there, but I still can't quite get an angle on him, so I'm going to keep trying to move forward and try and find an angle. So I know there's tank destroyers and stuff back here. We do get a nice shot there into the enemy medium tank again. Trying to get a second one in if possible, and we should be able to quite do that. And we do get one in, but then we get slapped by the SU tank destroyer, so we're going to have to be conscious of that fact. We swap to the double shot here because it looks like he's coming for us, and I need that extra alpha to finish off in one shot. And a boom, do that and get the kill. So that's where you've got to be quick, and that's where the double shot comes in handy, basically. When you know you can finish something off, but you need that tiny bit more damage, that's when I use the double shots. Now, you do need to understand that both guns, although they fire at the same time, they do fire independently. So technically, you could have one shot hit and penetrate, but the other shot didn't hit, because there's RMG based on both guns when they fire. So we're having a decent game. We've got 4 kills, 4,000 damage, but there's only 5 tanks remaining right now. There's this enemy T-28, I believe, tank destroyer, and then we've got this SU, and we do get, I think we just go for the double shot there to just you know, because I kind of expected he was going to get like obliterated, which he did. So again, that's probably another reason why you can use it, because obviously I did the one shot, I wouldn't have got time to fire the second shot anyway before he got destroyed. So that puts us on to about 5,000 damage with 4 kills. Looking for a cupola shot, we do get one in, which does put us above the 500. Now, at this point, I'm trying to get another shot into the cupola. I've gone for the double shot again because I thought this tank was going to get destroyed quickly, which is not really the case. But we do get those double shots in. But I think only one pen there, though. That's what I meant about the RMG. One hit, one didn't. But, you know, we end up getting 5,300 damage, 4 kills, and I think about 500 assistance. And that brings us end to the video. Like I said, only 2 replays. We blocked 1,600. Yeah, do I think this tank's worth it? I'm not sure it is. But, you know, some people like it. So that's my opinion. I just think it's too slow and needs a bit more alpha. I think if it was quicker, then that's my main gripe. It just feels too slow for me. But yeah, it's got a decent turret, and that is it. That is it for the replay. So thank you for watching, and happy tanking.
Hadouken!